So we lose 300,000 people a year to drugs entering from Mexico. And if they don't stop this poison from flooding into our country, and they can stop it by not accepting it from China, and I'm doing the same thing with China, we're going to tariff the hell out of them.
President-elect Donald Trump is gearing up to wage a tariff war when he returns to the White House. Trump has promised massive hikes in tariffs on goods coming from Mexico, Canada and China, starting on the first day of his new administration. In a series of posts on Truth Social, Trump announced that he will sign an executive order imposing a 25% tariff on all goods coming from Mexico and Canada after being inaugurated on the 20th of January. He said it will be in retaliation for illegal immigration and crime and drugs coming across the border. In another post, Trump said he would also be slapping China with a 10% tariff above any additional tariffs, in response to what he said was its failure to tackle fentanyl smuggling. Tariffs are a central part of Trump's economic vision. He sees them as a way of growing the US economy, protecting jobs and raising tax revenue. During his first term in office, Trump launched an all-out trade war with China, imposing significant tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars of Chinese goods. At that time, he cited unfair trade practices, intellectual property theft, and the trade deficit as its justification. The US, Mexico, and Canada are tied to a 3-decade-old free trade agreement that was renegotiated under Trump after he complained that US businesses were losing out. Many US imports from Canada and Mexico are exempted from tariffs because of the agreement. But now, by citing the fentanyl crisis and illegal immigration, Trump appears to be using national security concerns as a means to break the deal. During his election campaign, Trump said he would impose tariffs of 60% or more on imports of Chinese goods and suggested that he could impose a tariff of 1,000% or higher on vehicles imported from Mexico. Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, had earlier suggested that the president-elect's threats to impose major tariff hikes were part of his negotiation strategy. The US is the world's largest importer. China, Mexico and Canada account for about 40% of the $3.2 trillion of goods it imports each year. Ontario Premier Doug Ford issued a more direct warning, saying the tariffs would be devastating to workers and jobs in both the US and Canada. He said the federal government needs to take the situation at our border seriously. We need a Team Canada approach and response, and we need it now. China's embassy in Washington said a trade war would not benefit either side. Spokesperson Liu Pengyu said about the issue of US tariffs on China, China believes that China-US economic and trade cooperation is mutually beneficial in nature. The measures have the potential to cause disruptions to the global supply chain and would hit the three countries targeted by the tariffs extremely hard. The immediate impact would be to make it more expensive for companies in Canada, Mexico and China to export goods to the US, cutting into their bottom line. Companies in turn are likely to pass these higher costs on to customers, leading to higher prices. According to economists, in the longer term, tariffs would have an inflationary impact in the US and negatively affect global trade.